So I won't beat around the bush, I guess. Big news from USC yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, Lincoln Riley relieving Alex Grinch of his duties as defensive coordinator. What was your instant reaction when you saw the news?
Well, I mean, the initial reaction was like everybody else's, honestly. It's just like, yeah, like I think what had to happen was something had to shake up, right? When you think about like the last 4 or 5 weeks of USC football,
Yeah.
yes, we've had a few sputters on offense, and I mean, we can't lie. The Notre Dame game, we'll take that. Yes, the offense was absent. We'll take that. But when you look around the board, the offense has put up insane numbers.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because you let a team like who was this team we just played?
Washington?
Washington. They were 107th in rushing offense. The dude dropped 250 on
Yeah,
us.
that's wild.
Like that's it's like it's one thing, right? It's one thing when you're looking and you're like, no, these boys are competing. And
Yeah, they're
like
fine.
and I went back and I heard what you and I read. I mean, I looked at what even Lincoln Riley said when you're saying, oh, we're about 5 plays on offense. Five. That's absolutely false.
Yeah.
We're 20, 30 plays away on defense. Like we're not stopping anybody. Matt Liner tweeted it, Sewell tweeting. It's like, even when you have defensive minds, you got people like Willie Mack, when you got people that know the game really well, and they're like, what are these kids doing out there?
Yeah.
Or they're like, why are they lined up? It's like there's no method to the madness. So then to me, it makes me question coaching. Doesn't make me question if the kids got it or not, or they don't, if they're, talented enough. At this point, it's like, are we lining these kids up? Are we putting these kids in the right situations? Or like, what is our defensive scheme? Is there any, like, again, method to the madness? And clearly there wasn't. When
Yeah.
you let a guy go for 250 on you, but the kicker is even last week when he said like he hasn't seen this before, but the same play had popped up on film 2 weeks before. So it's like, are you really? Maybe he was just into the Southern California lifestyle. I don't know. But one thing we do know for sure is that I'm on Twitter every day. Everybody knows this,
Yeah.
and all the OU fans been saying this. They're like, hey. We'll see how much you like that OU stuff when Grinch's bend don't break defense, and we've been hearing it.
Yep.
But I'm not here to spoil the man's day or talk about him, disrespect him in any way. I mean, Grinch clearly just to get at this level,
Yeah.
you had to do something right at some point in time in your career. So I'm not going to say that it's always all on him, but I know that there needed to be a shakeup at USC, and the only thing that we could probably the smartest move was to do something on defense because 600 yards later, again, it's like there's no justifying what else needs to happen. It's something needs to happen on defense.
A change that people have been calling for since the beginning of the season.
Right. Since
But
Tulane.
I am curious, what other problems do you see within the USC football team right now? Because I know one coaching change mid-season isn't going to do much, right? Like it's a statement that they're going to be working on it and that things will change. But what else have you seen that is wrong within maybe the program, the way they're playing right now?
Well, for me, it's probably like the individuality. I could say, I mean, they could take it how they want to. It's like everybody wants to be an individual, which I totally understand. But when you're on the field, this is a team game. Like you got to be in cahoots with one another. You got to know what your guy's doing, like clockwork. You got to believe that the guy next to you is going to do his job and his job only. I don't need you to do my job along with his job. I need you to just do your job. And I think that right now it's like some people, some people might be hearing the whiffs of NFL. Some people might be hearing NIL. There's so many L's in this thing, and we're taking them. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the thing is, it's like when we were playing, and I know what people say, well, it's why are you keep drawing? But it's like, dude, when we were playing, we had Reggie Bush, we had Matt Liner. Yes, these guys were Heisman Trophy winners, right? But if you don't think that them boys was busting their butts at practice every day the same way as everybody else, if you don't think that they had to wear the same black sweatsuit on travel days or in the same shirt, like everybody was the same. We went out on that practice field. Nobody had their shirt off trying to show how swole we were. We had the same gray USC shirts on with the same. Everybody was the same. So nobody was looked at higher or, greater than one another. And we all, again, relied on one another to do just your
Yeah.
job. I don't expect you to be, I don't know. I don't, when Aaron Donald goes out on Sundays, he's not saying I'm going to clog the three technique, the one end of, no, he said, I'm going to lock up my two men like the coach told me to do, and everybody else does their job. We'll be okay. Right. That's how I'm just looking at it. To me, I feel like we're just all over the place in the sense that somebody's trying to do too much or trying to uh, compensate for somebody else or whatever it may be. And then it's like the lack of, but I don't know. I can't say that those kids can't make plays or can't ball. Like
Yeah.
when you were playing against the number 5 team in the country, right? And we did make a few plays when we needed to sometimes, but it's like we gave up 50 again. You know what I mean? That's 100 points in 2 weeks. It's like that. The offense, no matter how good you are, like, what do you expect? Like, this can't be 60, 65, points every weekend. We need somebody to step up and say, hey, like, I take it upon myself. I challenge myself. I don't know if those kids are challenging themselves. Like, I don't know if they're looking at themselves like, that's what I'm saying. There's nobody's telling us or nobody's giving us from the inside that camp, like an accurate of what's going on. They're not saying, hey, we don't have the talented players that we think we do, or the coaching is absolutely, or we're not in the right place. Nobody's saying this. So all that we can do is make assumptions from film or when we watch the game. Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like it's like sometimes they do it right versus like consistency, which you need to win games. I don't know. And it's frustrating from the fan perspective. I think it's frustrating, I'm sure, for you who played there and watches the game as a former player, but I am like wondering, a lot came out of the Washington game, right? We have Grinch being fired. Again, the defense gets exposed. But another big thing that came out of it was looking at Caleb, right? And his mentality, his play, the shot that they showed at the end where he is so clearly so upset about what is going on. And goes to his mom. And so many people, A, had an issue with it. B, we're calling him soft. We're calling him, not the leader of the team. Or C, we're praising him. Where did you fall when you watched Caleb on Saturday and then at the end of the game on Saturday?
Like, it's crazy. I'm getting chills even talking about this because it's funny how like the outside people or the dude that's probably staying in his mom's basement has, they always have some type of what somebody should be feeling or how they should. Nobody understands the blood, sweat, tears, emotion, everything that you put into this game. Like, I know for myself, and I can speak this for Matt Liner and a whole bunch of other people, like, we put everything that you ever loved into that game. So when the outcome isn't what you want, yes, you get emotional. Like, I seen a coach this year on the sideline. His team was getting beat like 70 to something, and he started crying. Like, yes, like, bro, like, we're human beings. We demand greatness from ourselves. So when shit doesn't go the way we want it to, of course, we are our own worst critic.
Yeah.
Nobody has to say, oh, like, that's what I'm saying. If you call Caleb soft because he's pissed he lost the game, and then you're probably way more soft than anybody around there. Like I said, like, I know how it really feels to lose a game. After I lost to Texas, the first thing I did, and people can call me soft and whatever, I looked for my mom in the stands and I let out a fucking tear. Like, I was sad as fuck. And it wasn't just about losing just the game. It's like when you think he's probably thinking about the bigger picture. Yes, he probably wanted to celebrate with these guys. He wanted these guys to win. He wanted them to be Pac-10 to Pac-12 champs. He wanted them to feel all of that. And as the head man or the guy that, it falls on the shoulders, like, of course, when the game's all said and done and you didn't reach the pinnacle or you didn't reach the top like you wanted to, shit's going to piss you off. And yes, you should feel emotion. That's exactly what I want to see in a guy that leads my team, because to me, that shows me he cares. He loves this game that much. Like, it bothers him that much. Like, none of us do this. We never do it to lose. So to see that type of emotion out of somebody, especially a guy that I call, a leader of our team, the guy that won a Heisman already and probably was trying to double down, of course, I feel some type of emotion. Of course, I'm pissed off. I'm sad. I'm mad. Like, people don't cry sometimes because they're sad about shit.
Because they're mad. They're frustrated.
It's the piss. People got to be
nowhere else to release it other than just cry.
Just let it go. And Caleb, I salute you as an adult man. mental health, all that. Like, I understand and I get it. Little bro, you did nothing wrong. I am proud of you, man. What you've done and what you've meant to the USC Trojans, I don't think we can ever repay you as fans. You know, we know, I know what you've given to this game, man. So don't ever allow anybody to make you feel less of or soft or whatever they think they can say, because nobody has been in your shoes, man. And for us that really know you and been around you, dog, we understand who you are as a player. And again, I salute you, little bro, and I love you, man. And fight on, man. You don't deserve any of this, man. All you deserve is, high praises because of what you were able to produce and put out there for us, man. So I'm gonna be the first to say it. I salute you, little bro. Thank you.
Yeah, it almost made me mad. I remember calling my mom and I'm like, I still call you and cry, because who else are you going to cry to? Like, other than he's 21. Like, when you're 21 years old, I don't care how much money he's making, how big of a star he is. Like, you're still a kid who at the end of the day just wants to let out his emotions to his mom. Like, oh God, it made me so angry about that.
I still, again, you said it, you call it, if somebody pisses me off on it, going to be a tear let out. I got to call somebody, I let it out. It might be over after that, but the emotions, sometimes when you love something so much, again, the frustration of that, the upset, it'll boil over. We all have our boiling and reaching points. So you can call him whatever you want, man. But next year, when he's the first overall pick, I bet y'all won't call him broke or soft in.
God, it just pisses me off. People always have an opinion. But one more question on Caleb. In looking at just the frustration that he's had because of the load that he's had to put on his back, basically being asked to be perfect week after week to compensate for the defensive issues. Yeah. When you look back at this season, which theoretically, he had to come back, but he's back to win a championship was what he came back for. Do you look back at his legacy in USC right now and say talent wasted, generational talent wasted, or can they still turn it around for him?
Well, then if we say that, you got to look at Carson and say Carson was wasted. You got to look at Sanchez, say Sanchez was wasted. Sam Darnold, Cody Kessler, Matt Barkley. You got to, let's be realistic. The goal is to win a national championship, but that's for the team and everybody around you. The goal is to get to the next level. If you, the ultimate goal for each and one of us, that when we grow up as a kid, yes, we want to win championships. We want to win MVPs. We want to do all that great stuff. But the main goal that is always in the back of our head is to get and compete at the highest level we possibly can get to, right? So when I look at Caleb and say talent wasted, not at all. When you look at, for us, selfish fans and USC, we'll be like, oh yeah, we didn't get but that's selfish of us. Yeah. We're still going to look at an All-American, Heisman, and probably the first overall draft pick from USC. How is that wasted? Yeah. He gave us another 10 years of bragging rights. That's what people don't realize. I know for my old self around the world, you can say whatever they want, but it's like, I'm looking at Heismans and I'm like, hey, how many Heismans does your university have? Because we just added another one. You know what I mean? Like, we have the most all time. How about you guys? Like, that's how I look at things. Like, I don't look at a generational talent wasted at all. He's probably going to go on from here and do huge, amazing things. I don't know. Listen, who knows if he doesn't come back and he feels like he has a bone to pick? I don't know. I'm totally clearly he probably won't. But hey, but at the end of the day, like, Caleb has given his all to the USC Trojans, and if you're a USC Trojan, we know that, and we praise him. There's anger tweets, and there's going to be people saying that a generational, they could say that all they want, but then again, you got to go back down the long, talented list of lines of quarterbacks that we had that weren't able to win a so-called national championship, and say if their talent was wasted. I can't buy that.
So where does this team go from here? Because going into Oregon after a harsh loss, losing your defensive coordinator, and then you travel to Oregon, like, what do you think? And I know you've never had this situation because your time at USC was unique, but
it gets me excited because there's always something to play for. We ruined their season. Like, that's what we're playing for at this point. Like, we can start playing upsets to everybody else around there. Oh, you think you're going here? No, let's ruin yours. You thought you had a bowl. No, let's ruin it. We can play ruiners to for the rest of the season. People, of course, we didn't get to the goal we wanted to, but there's people, Oregon, I know that they feel like if they went out, that they can still go, anywhere. So why not play upset to those guys? Like, why not go out there and in their hopes to go into the Pac-12 championship or whatever it may be? Like, you're playing for, again, I said this last week, we're playing for recruits. You're still playing for a bowl game. They give good gifts out in these games. You can go dominate in that game. You want to get drafted, go show out in the bowl game. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I know I've only played in certain games, but to me, it didn't matter what game it was. I always wanted to do the greatest I could possibly do. I never thought, I don't care if I lost 3 games in a row, the 4th game was going to be a win. It was never the thought process of I'm going out here to lose. I don't look at Oregon as we're going out there to lose this game. I feel like the shakeups, moving people around is going to give our defense, the team, the energy, everything that we need to build us up for this week and go out there and surprise a lot of people. We put up enough points. Like we're out there, we're playing. We can get right. Like we can play ball with these guys. We just need, hopefully, that this shakeup is giving these kids confidence to where like they might play out of their minds this weekend. I've seen it. And I've also seen it the opposite way. I'm praying it goes, the way I expect. And they're gonna go out there, give Lincoln, like I guess to show Lincoln that they're in full support of him. Like they got to go play their butts off because, like just because it is Lincoln and we've had success, and I'm not taking shots again, but it's like if you skid out and just keep, it's like, what are we doing here now? It's like, what are our hopes is like of what we thought was replacing Hilton, and now we're having this. It's like we're way too talented of a team now. At least Clay didn't have Caleb. He didn't have Zach Branch. He didn't have Brennan Rice. Yeah, but damn, he did have St. Brown and Pittman.
He has Sam Darnold.
I know, let me stop. Let me stop. Hey, but when we look at talent-wise on a team, I feel like that this team is way more talented than the ones in the past.
Collectively,
Yeah, collectively. So I just feel like Lincoln has to find a way to lock these boys in and get them to believe again and understand that there's everything to still be playing for. We're moving into the Big Ten next year. Yes, they're licking their chops and people looking like, oh, this is what they're coming in here with. We got to go put stuff on film to where we let these people know that this, yes, it's not the year we wanted to, but shit, we're going to start off again and we're bringing a whole lot of talented players with us into this next year. So I don't know. I want to see what these kids fight is like, what the fight on really means to them, like what victory means to them, because these last couple of weeks, I've seen it though. I'm not mad at the fight. It's been fight. Like we've been having the fight. We've been coming up short, but at least I can look up and say like, we've been in the games, like certain shit didn't go our way, but at least we had almost an opportunity to be in these games. I don't want to see these games where, we're getting blown out and it's like you just see the quitting or it's like people just moping around and it's like that, because then it's like the younger generation sees that and it's like they got to come into that. It's like, man, we're playing for everything. We still got another recruit that just locked in. We got people, that's going to come help fix it. But, right now we got to lock in and believe in one another.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see. I can't imagine like what it's like for the defensive players who, I wonder if it's just like mixed emotions. Like you knew there needed to be a change having played for that unit, but also like that's your coach. And how are you going to respond as a young kid? I'm very curious to see how that unfolds, especially against Oregon, who does have a dynamic offense and a great quarterback too. So I'm intrigued.
This is a very intriguing game. I actually think I'm gonna be going to it too. So, it's fun in Autzen. I haven't been down there in God knows how long.
It's
so
hostile over there. I hate being a fan of in Autzen.
Yeah,
they're freaking duck whistles.
They're kind of like Raider fans in a sense. They're very aggressive down there in Autzen. That's why I wanted to go. I can't wait to see the atmosphere. That's what I can't wait to just see how our boys respond. Yeah, we're still playing for a big bowl game. Like you want to still go to the best bowl game you possibly can get to. You want to still make a splash, man. You still want to win. Like that. We don't go to USC to lose football games. We go to USC to win. So I'm anxious to see.
We shall see, or else we're going to be very frustrated fans again over the weekend.
I think I don't think we'll be frustrated. I think we find a way. I think these kids rally, and maybe that's just my belief in that fight on in me. Because like no matter what it is, everybody's seen my memes. I had it. Yeah, he's mine. I'm gonna stick by it. Like I'm sticking by these guys regardless. Like I'm a Trojan through and through. Like if I've been a Trojan through the so-called Clay Helton era, and that, then come on, man, I got to take this. We're 7-3.
Yeah, I think everybody as a collective needs to calm down. Like, yes, Lincoln needed to make a change, and I know it must have been hard. It's probably his
For
best buddy,
sure.
but like he did it. It's changing. And this is year two. I keep reminding myself that. It's hard because
Yeah.
we have Caleb. And I look at him and I go, oh, come on. Like we have this generational talent. Like we could have
Yeah.
done so much. But and then I'm like, it is year two.
Yeah, right. He's like 20 games in, 23 games
Yeah,
into
like
his
I
coaching
try to temper
career.
myself, and I think a lot of people need to do that. But is it frustrating? Absolutely. The defense looks
Yeah.
horrid, and if I was a former defensive player, I would be on Twitter too, like so upset. But
Yeah. I agree, because when you can match plays with facts, or you can match, like I can't deny you then. It's one thing if we're just throwing shots out there and you're saying, oh, this guy stinks because of this, and it's like
yeah,
you saying he stinks but the record shows exactly opposite. I can't go with that. But when you go up there and it's like, like I said, Lionheart's up there, and Sue was like, hey, this is why these guys are this XYZ and they should be. And it's like, it's hard for me not to agree with a guy like that, because I know they know the football. I know the knowledge. I'm seeing what I know, what I'm seeing as well. But for somebody else to catch it, it's like I know that I wasn't crazy this whole time. So, hey, it's frustrating for sure. But let's figure this out, man. We got to ride. I'm riding with Lincoln. I can't lie. Like I'm riding with him. I'm riding with him because for some reason he has that quarterback position on lock. He keeps getting these top quarterbacks to come in and committing.
yep,
So we know that we have guys that are going to be able to lead the team. Now it's just about us as fans, even as guys that can help recruit or whatever, getting the guys and these pieces around these people and these other, these talented stars to help, build our roster up. I keep drawing parallels, but I remember years ago when I was in the All-American Bowl, there were like 15, 16 players in that game that was going to USC. So it made nothing but sense of why we ended up being really good.
yeah,
If we can get back to those days, and I really truly believe we're right on the line,
yeah.
this Oregon game can, like
Turn things around.
you can, like I've seen it, man. So you, but you have to believe on the inside. If those kids lock in and grab one another and say, hey, I believe you and I believe in you, I know you're going to get your job done, then the sky will really be the limit for these kids.
All right, we believe. Hopefully, the team believes. So
Yes,
I will talk to you about it next week. Enjoy the game.
okay,
Don't
thank
get
you.
into any fights.
I'll try not to. If I'll let somebody hit me first so I can throw another blow just in case. I'm just
That's the
joking.
way to do it. Take it first.
Fight on.
Fight on. Bye.